I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah, man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome to episode 702 of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports. For institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA, we share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture and the HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, David L. Rhodes, with my man, Jeffrey Johnson, and a little bundle of joy down there. And Brandon King will be here later, but right now he's on assignment, and Tariq Wilson absolutely is on assignment. We are filming live from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KCOH 12:30 a.m. studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. Mr. Johnson, how you doing over there, sir?
I'm here, bro. I am here, and I'm hoping that little Zuri over here kind of keeps it together for me. And I miss being over here, being on this show every Wednesday, but I'm here today.
You got kids, man. I get it. You got some bundles. That's plural.
Yeah.
Bundles for plural.
Yeah.
So we know your time is valuable, sir. So we're gonna get straight to it. I went to Tennessee State and A&T. I was in the building, but I did not get to watch. Hampton versus Jackson State. So I need you guys to give me a rundown of what happened. Okay. And I would like to shout out the Jackson State alumni. Yeah. Y'all wanted me when I picked you guys to lose, and I appreciate that. But I also said it wasn't going to be a blowout, and it was not.
I mean, we're still serious.
Yeah, I know. That's the first time they've ever beaten y'all, right?
Yeah, first time. Yeah. So, I mean, I'll just say this. I didn't go to the game personally. I would love to go. I've gone down to Veterans Memorial before, and, I love the environment. But just by observation alone, they said that was the lowest crowd for an opening I think in history. Well, and I guess in a while for Jackson State. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, I know Hampton wouldn't be a draw for them, What I found majority of times as a Hamptonian, when I go down to like SWAC country, so many people don't even know about the program. They almost think that we're in the CIAA sometimes. We went down to play Alabama A&M, I think, actually, in 2010. I was there at Louis Cruz Stadium. And a lot of them were just like, why are we playing the CIAA team? And, it was like, wow, you guys really don't know too much. I mean, you guys know SWAC football.
Yeah.
But as far as the game was concerned, I think for us, we had a lot of question marks going into this game because this was the first team that we didn't know nothing. Whereas with Prunty's teams, we kind of had an idea, but we didn't know who our quarterback would be. We had an idea of the running game, but we lost a lot of our offensive linemen to the portal. We lost one to Marshall, who just played against UGA. Another kid, I think, to Coastal Carolina. Then another kid at Norfolk State. And these were all starters on our offensive line. So we lost a lot of those guys. And we just, and then we lost the number one receiver, Brendan Ridley. And so we're basically all portal guys that were on our roster. So we knew it was going to be an uphill fight from the start. And I would say this, we did have a quarterback that came from Lincoln, which was the CIAA Player of the Year. We were excited to see him. Then we had another quarterback from Syracuse, a 4-star transfer from Syracuse, and Braden Davis. and they both got an opportunity to play. Initially, I would say the game when it started, Hampton started off on fire. You know, Isaiah Freeman had like a 64-yard run, and then we capped it off 2 plays later with Jaquan Snipes for a run off tackle in the end zone. So I'm sitting like, okay, we got something. And unfortunately, I would say we had a lot of mental mistakes. We had a 3 muff punts, which turned into points for Jackson State. It's those little errors that, honestly, you know, a lot of us felt like we beat ourselves, you know. And to be real, I mean, I know this is going to rankle a lot of JSU folks. Your team is good. You have some good defensive linemen that transfer out of University of Florida. Ivory, good. He's good. But outside of that, I really wasn't impressed. Um, I felt that Hampton could have, you eliminate those mental mistakes, the game would have probably been 14-all, and then probably maybe into overtime, and we'd had an opportunity to pull it out. But two fumbles on a sack and 3 muff punts, recipe for disaster.
I need to go clear something up.
Yeah.
I did not say Hampton would destroy JSU. I said Hampton would beat JSU. They would win the game. I was incorrect on that. I can own that.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of Jackson State folks said that they were going to beat Hampton by 40. And I don't think that happened. And I said Hampton would probably cover the spread. But they didn't do that because the spread actually came much smaller. It was only like 5 points.
Yeah. I mean, and that to me is a delusion I think a lot of SWACos have anyway. You know, we play football too. You know, my thing.
It's their first CIAA win ever, so props to them. I mean, they got their first win in the CIAA.
And this is the wild part. I wish we had our kids that didn't transfer.
Well, we were discussing that, man, on HBCU Nightly before the game.
Yeah.
The week after last week, and Gerald Huggins, who's like, he also does some NFL scouting as well. He pretty much said last year's Hampton team would blow this current Jackson State team, but you can't go off that, right? Like, I was willing to stick my neck out there and think that you guys had a chance to beat them, and y'all were looking, and I was like looking at the score while I was in Nashville, and I'm like, oh, this is getting interesting. But like,
I would say this: the eyeball test, I felt like Hampton had the eyeball test. You know, we looked like a CAA team, linemen across the board, same size. But the problem was they never played together. So running game, problem. Passing game was a problem initially because the CIAA player of the year that we had in Isaiah Freeman, he literally, I think he had trouble completing like the first 6 passes, even the easy ones, the layups, he had trouble. And so then they inserted the Syracuse transfer. He went 11 for 12. 11 for 12, ball was moving in between the 20s. But the problem is he basically he lost a fumble on the sack fumble, and I think there was a center. No, it was a running back dropped the ball on like drives where we were in scoring position. So all of this stuff, I would say, is first game jitters, and it's on the road, so you can kind of excuse it. But I mean, a lot of us felt that with the offensive line that we had last year with with McDuffie, a 6'8", 360-pound mauler. Then we had Ola Uwaduni, another 6'8", 340-pounder, and then we had Lineberger at center, a 6'5" kid, 300-plus guy who's playing at Norfolk State. Had we had those guys, that would have been enough where we would have had established a running game. But a lot of the guys that we had they weren't new to the program somewhere, but they never had any starts. So it was a lot of that. I would say that I was impressed with what we did. It's just the mental errors on. You can't have 3 muff punts. You can't have 3 muff punts. You can't have a sack fumble. You had 2 sacks, and then the last one on the same series, and the last one resulted in a sack fumble. So total, I think we had about 5 turnovers, or I think two of them off. One of them off punts was recovered by us, but too many turnovers and all in scoring position for Jackson State, and they only walked away probably with only 7 points. So honestly, our defense did a hell of a job, but they were on the field way too often.
All right. So considering what happened in this game,
Sure.
how are you feeling going? Like, we got a couple more weeks before we get into conference. Well, actually, our first conference game is against us.
Yeah.
How do you feel about going into conference play?
Actually, I'm okay with it. And the reason why is Jaquan Snipes is a veteran. He knows what to do. I know that, and Isaiah Freeman, our transfer quarterback, he's not new. He's been he's been playing ball for a minute. Braden Davis he's an older guy too. So we got guys with experience that are on the roster. I think for us, it's the defense is set. The defense is good. I think for us, it's more about limiting, I would say, mental errors. And that probably is something I'm sure the coaches are going to be working on. So I'm definitely encouraged.
Yeah, like, so I'm gonna talk about the A&T game a little bit, but I want to wait. I want to try to hold off till Brandon gets here to get into the deets. But
Yeah.
I felt like A&T, they haven't looked this good since Sam Washington was the coach.
Yeah. So I saw a few of the highlights, and the first thing that popped out to me was they had explosion, and we weren't getting that off of the previous regime. I thought the previous regime was more about the X's and the O's and trying to get the right type of fit. And it was just too traditional, where I felt that with what we saw was kind of like a smash mouth type of football that we haven't seen in a while.
You want to talk about mistakes, man? We had 3 turnovers in that game.
Yeah. And those were costly too.
They were. Well, actually, we only gave up 3 points out of those 3 turnovers, if I recall correctly.
But those were momentum killers.
And those momentum killers. They were absolutely momentum killers.
And they were
like a quarterback got benched because of it, because he had 2 consecutive drives of turnovers.
Yeah, and we had those were the same for us. Like our first muff punt, I think, happened like on our own 10-yard line, and we were like, "Dude, come on!" Then the second muff punt happened like maybe like on our own 23rd, 23-yard line or something like that, and you're just like, "Son, you can't do that." And I know but to be honest, Veteran Memorial is not an intimidating place, you know. But
I'll say, well, we gave up 10 points. 10 of the Tennessee State's 24 points was off those turnovers.
Yeah, it's
so
doesn't it make me angry though? It's like I don't want to. Like I honestly, I don't like losing the SWAC programs. You know, that to me rankles me the most. Like you don't,
but you lost to the best one in the bunch. Like you lost to the one that was nationally ranked. Georgia State's 15th in the country.
I mean, you know what? And it's funny on our podcast with the Pirates shit. We said we knew we knew that it was going to be a tall task. But it's like
defending HBCU national champion, 15th in the country. It was going to be a tall task.
Yeah, but it's like I don't like losing the SWAC programs. You know, it's like.
But Jackson State's the outlier.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, but I will say this: after this weekend, I think I got to reconsider Bama State as somebody that can actually do something if anybody can stay healthy.
I'm not going to reconsider them because UAB is that garbage. UAB is bad. Did you see a report saying that Trent Dilfer is possibly the worst coach in the last 20 years?
But it's still FBS. It's still FBS, man. They're still FBS. They still got like 20, 25 or so more. Actually, they could have up to 40 more scholarships than us.
They got 40 more scholarships of FCS players. So,
I think. Well, I think the big thing for me going into that game when Alabama State played UAB was if they were going to stick with Body the whole game.
Well, I agree.
And so when they did that, and I saw what Body did, Body made 5 touchdowns is 5 touchdowns, man. I don't care who was against.
I was
Yo,
like,
5 touchdowns and 5 touchdowns. So he balled.
I was
And
like,
I'm more concerned about what they look like defensively, but we'll get a better idea when they play Southern this weekend.
yeah. And Southern has to redeem themselves from. I mean, I know they did beat Mississippi Valley State, but they took a beat down from Central. So, they did not look good at Central. And
I mean, depending on who you ask, they probably should, I guess Valley had their chances from what I understand, but
I know. So it is what it is.
but the thing, and so I looked at the top 7 that Dr. Cavil released. And I couldn't find a slide.
Yeah.
But he had Southern at 7. And I'm like, I don't think I would put them above Alabama State.
No. But it's like, were we expecting Alabama State to be this? Well, okay, hold on. That was a first game. It was a first, and I'm still skeptical on them. That quarterback legit. The defense though.
And that's what they're known for. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna be looking for this weekend against Southern. I'm very intrigued about what the quarterback is going to look, what the defense is going to look like against Southern. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Southern offensively does not scare me. They do not scare me at all.
They can't throw the ball.
Nope. So it's gonna be fascinating to see what Bama State does against Southern at Southern.
Yeah. I'm not really high on Southern this year.
And Alcorn State, they're playing Alabama, and I'm purposely picking these games because I didn't want to get into because this week is HBCU money week.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of games out here where either we're paying Division II programs for our games, or we're out here going to Ohio State, or we're out here going to Central Florida, and we're out here collecting the check somewhere else. So this is money week for HBCU.
Yeah.
When you talk about Alabama State, Alabama A&M, and Alcorn this weekend, it's going to be fascinating to see how Alcorn bounces back, because losing to Northwestern State, a team that didn't win a game in 3 years, is rough.
Was it like a 23 game lose? Was it 23 games?
22 or 23 games. Sir.
Jeez. But you know what though? It's like, if it was going to be somebody, I was going to say it would have been Texas Southern or Alcorn.
Texas Southern didn't look too bad, man. They lost on the last minute one, right? Last minute touchdown. I caught that live, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
Yeah. But that ball never bounces Texas Southern way. So, yeah,
that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
But now I'm gonna go back up to A&T real fast. Yeah, man. Joshua Isaiah, he won CIAA Defensive Player of the Week. So shout out to him. 10 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and an interception. He had a day.
Yeah.
He had a phenomenal day.
You know what? It's like watching the highlights of that. It's like it kind of it made me wonder, like, did they really like Vincent, the kids last year? No, because they were all, even though you saw the mistakes that were all over the field, you could tell they were going 100% for a get.
I'll say this, and we can go to break. We can go to break soon. I'll say this. During last week's Monday press conference, they typically they'll have 2 players. Corian Sharp, our offensive lineman, who has he got NFL potential.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time he's ever done it.
Yeah.
They talked about they asked him why he decided to stay.
Yeah.
Because he's been in the program since Sam Washington.
Yeah.
So he knew who Gibbs was.
Yeah.
Didn't really talk to Gibbs like that, but he knew that he was a good guy, good man. And he was like, typically good man make good coaches.
Yeah.
But then he had a pause and said, well, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
But Gibbs is a good coach. So they know who they were. So that was like the shade. Like that was a shade to the previous coach. Not purposely, but just felt that way.
Yeah.
Right? Because he had to go back and rethink, like, nah, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
But the thing that I liked about A&T, they were aggressive. They got to clean up the turnovers. But I think what happened with that situation, it ultimately boiled down to they were still in the QB battle.
Yeah.
And, Champ Long got the start, but then when he got the 2 turnovers in consecutive drives, they brought in Braxton Thomas, and he kind of pretty much took it at that point.
Do you feel it's going to be really hard to get these QBs? Because I felt like for the past 4 years, we had Well, if we do get one, we have him for 1 year because he's a transfer, and this is his last program that he can play with. So it's like I'm starting to feel that we're not. It's going to be really tough to get a kid to stay here at QB.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because you want to talk about like Kevin White, who was the starter last year before he got hurt.
Yeah,
He got hurt right before the spring game. So he should be back soon. So it'll be fascinating to see how it goes. And ODB, you're right, man. It was Champ Law's first start, but you're in a QB competition. I mean, we got a lot. It's live balls, man. It's live at that point. You gotta deliver. Mm-hmm. And I know he might have been nervous. He might have had jitters. But
I mean, that's a pretty large game too for him to.
But here's my bounce back.
Yeah,
there was a lot of turnover at Tennessee State. There's a lot of players that was on that roster didn't have that much snap experience.
Yeah,
a lot of players.
Yeah,
Reggie Barlow showed up after the first portal window.
Yeah,
like so, there's no. I understand it was the first start. I get it, but you're in a competition and you had the first opportunity. You had the chance to take that job and you didn't. And Braxton Thomas walked in and he did.
Yeah, he did.
He went 11 for Braxton Thomas went 11 for 13, 169 yards, threw a touchdown, ran a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's his job.
Yeah.
Now there were other mistakes. There was a crazy stat. So there were 3 big plays in that Tennessee State game. And without those 3 big plays, A&T only gave up 59 yards of offense to Tennessee State.
You know what? And it's the same thing that Hampton did.
It's wild, man.
Jackson State didn't move the ball until our offense just said we ain't going back out there no more. So defense got to play the rest of the game. So of course they gave up the last 2 those last 2 touchdowns were just tired touchdowns because we knew it was over. The offense just couldn't move the ball downfield. So defensively, I feel that both of our programs are definitely trending.
Oh yeah. Nah, I'm not. I like last year we were the worst defense in the nation. I'm not nearly concerned as I was last year.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, no. Oh no.
But as we talked about, like Prunty, like he had always had him a 6'8", a 6'7" lineman on that team, man. But yeah, I just felt like the offensive line for us couldn't move the ball anywhere.
Now I thought we did a pretty good job there. I do think that. I think that who y'all playing next week, man? Who y'all playing? Y'all playing Union next? Who y'all playing?
Oh no! Listen, I don't want to see I want no parts of Union. So 21 was it 20? Oh yeah, it was like 2019, 2021. Yeah, man.
So who y'all playing next week?
Elizabeth City.
Oh Jesus, man!
We beat them by 80 last time. No, but we need a morale booster. Not saying that was a morale killer for us, but I felt that the defense honestly kept us in the game up until late, and I felt like had we did not have those turnovers, we could have possibly won that game.
You're playing Elizabeth City State. Me, so you out here writing checks, and we about to collect checks, and we're playing Central Florida this weekend.
Yeah.
And so A&T Roar doesn't believe the competition is over. Well, we're gonna find out because I'm pretty sure they're going to end up playing both 2 quarterbacks anyway. Because if the game gets out of hand,
yeah, you're definitely gonna do that.
They're gonna swap.
Yeah.
I hope the game doesn't get out of hand too early. Like I really think that. But it's always a war of attrition when you're going up against an FBS program, especially a P4 FBS program. So it's always a war of attrition when it comes to that.
I would prefer that a lot of other players would, play in this game due to the fact that you guys need to maintain, I would say, health on your roster.
Yeah, well, because we got y'all next week.
Yeah.
We got y'all, then we got Aggie Eagle back to back. Yeah. So it's like, we really need to stay. We need to get out. They want to win, though. Gibbs said he wants to win this game, so. I expect him to say that. Well, I expect him to say that. There's some coaches that won't say that, but I expect him to say that.
Of course, like I'm not gonna. No, he's not gonna say I don't want to win. Of course, he want to win.
No, well, there's some coaches who didn't necessarily say that. Because some people are not a fan of the money game.
That check, I could be like, look, I want the check, so, but whatever.
Oh man. So before I let you go, I'm going to ask you about another game, man. Right now, Virginia State are 3-point favorites against Norfolk State.
Oh, I'm about to say, okay, listen. I wasn't there for y'all when y'all talked about Vic last week. So, like
Townsend, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
Yeah,
Townsend did not look that good last week.
They look bad. They didn't
look good last week at all.
Like a bottom CAA team. I looked at Michael Vick out there coaching a bunch of 8-year-olds out there. It did not look good, and I knew what to expect, but I didn't think it would look like that. And I'm just going to say it like this. The Michael Vick farewell tour will be already in effect when he comes to Armstrong. But when it comes to playing Virginia State has beaten Norfolk State a lot at Dick Price Stadium. And I will not be surprised if it happened again.
It'd be 2 of the last 3 years if it happens again.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. It's like, and I can see it happening, because, hey, he took players that rode the bench for us. Well, he did take our starting center, but, he needed that guy. So I am, and they have Otto Coombs at QB and the other guy. Otto Coombs, he's serviceable, but he's serviceable. I'll say that. The other guy's kind of like, you don't know what you're going to get. He's a read option kid, but I don't feel that the team, I don't even know what the identity of that Norfolk State team is. When I saw Delaware State play,
they look good, man.
I saw that identity. They scrappy.
The thing is, but there's a distinct difference between Deshaun Jackson and Michael Vick. Deshaun Jackson has coached before. Even if it's high school, he's coached before.
Yeah.
Vic hasn't. And you can see that.
You can see that's another thing. You can't put family members on the squad, man. That's the problem, man. Like when I thought when he had Tommy Riemann in his corner, and people who are familiar with Tidewater football, he's the Nick Saban of Tidewater football. People know him, respect him. He would have brought in recruits, but unfortunately, Riemann is, yeah. So I think he needed that type of mentorship in his corner, and I want to know who is helping him. And that to me is a concern.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. Let me another game. Any thoughts on FAMU Howard? And then we'll go break. I'll let you go.
Because we talked about this in the chat. So they only scored 9 points. Okay, I did not see not one highlight. I didn't dare to look at it.
I didn't. No, I all I know is this: it was a game-winning field goal, if I remember correctly.
And who was the FAMU quarterback? Was it
RJ? RJ something.
Oh, so the I forgot his name.
And Cozy said he's not benching him, so he's sticking with him
because they had the kid last year. I forgot. It starts with the J. Janikowski or something like that. And I always thought he was a better quarterback. I feel that Colsey. Okay, just based from what I've seen what we've seen the past year, Colsey, the offense just looked vanilla. It was a straightforward offense. Like it was almost like the Model T of HBCU offenses. It's just nothing innovative. It's just straight up and down, and I just felt that the team was very bland, and they don't feel like they have any I would say motivation. They just looked like they were just going through the motions all last year, and it's creeped into this year.
And this is what the alumni and the players wanted. So
yeah, and you should never listen to what the players wanted. So they got bigger fish to fry down there in Tallahassee. This is going to be an off year for them.
Oh man, I don't know, man. A lot of them think they're gonna win the SWAC, so I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, what do you take out of Howard from this? Like,
look.
I know how you feel about them as an institution, but what do you take? What do you take out of Howard out of this?
They are scrappy. And they will play up. They always play up above what they're capable of. And I felt that them going down to play FAMU, first of all, kudos to them. They actually they won the game, which is rare for them down there in I can't go. I call it in
Miami because it was the Orange Blossom Classics. They weren't at Bragg, so they was in Miami though.
So I mean, they only scored 10 points. I mean, what if FAMU was on their game? It would have been 41-10. So, I mean, but shout out to Howard. I felt that they always play up to the competition, and Larry Scott always has them moving in the right direction. Sometimes they just don't have the players at certain key positions. So, yeah.
All right, good stuff. All right. I know you got to go, man. I appreciate you giving me this half hour.
And you're like, what's wrong with you, girl? All right, bro.
All right, man. So we'll be right back after this break, and hopefully Brandon King will make an appearance. If not, because I know he wants to get his trash talk in on me, and that's fine. But hopefully he'll make an appearance. We'll be right back after this break.
Now, you can't live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in due fall.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. Two powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable. The vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in Miami Gardens.
Football fans, HBCU.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want to lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Give me 1 second, guys. There we go. That's better. This is the Indy Report. So it is Money Week in HBCU football. Typically, this is the week where a lot of our HBCUs go out and play against FBS programs, or this is also the week where they're actually giving the checks to the Division II programs. So we briefly talked about some of the games. What I would like to do, I'm gonna go over the list real fast, and I'm gonna go over the list, and I'm gonna discuss some potential in some of these games, so maybe we can make some history and get a HBCU to beat the FBS program. I think the one game where I think that's actually a decent possibility is when Jackson State plays Southern Miss. I think it's very possible that they can go in there and pull this upset and be the first HBCU to do it since 2019 when A&T did it. So let me see here. 2018, excuse me, when A&T beat ECU, excuse me. Let me see here. I'm over here hustling backwards today. I apologize for that. We know that Gramblin's playing Ohio State. I hope Grambling can just get out of there healthy. I mean, that is a tall task. To expect that to pull some type of upset like that. That is a very, very tall task. But Texas Southern is playing Cal. That's another tall task. Florida Atlantic is playing Florida A&M. That's a rough one. Bethune is playing Miami. That's going to be a rough one. Tarleton State versus Valley. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to be a realistic thing to expect Valley to beat Tarleton State. Tarleton State's 2-0. Alcorn versus Alabama A&M. It's a non-conference matchup. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is a non-conference matchup. I have Alabama A&M getting it done against Alcorn State. I wasn't impressed with what I saw. I did catch some of that game against Northwestern State, and I was not impressed with what I saw with Alcorn. But I was impressed with what I saw with Bama State. And prior to the season, I said that I think it'll take a couple of weeks for Bama State to get for Sam Shade to not Bama State, Alabama A&M. It would take a couple of weeks for Sam Shade to get that culture going, his culture instilled, and I think Alcorn State is a good first step to get towards that. And he'll get his first Division I win as a head coach. So I got Alabama A&M defeating Alcorn State. I have Alabama State going into the Bluff and beating Southern. I think Andrew Body. It was the Andrew Body show, and I think it's going to continue. I am concerned about their defense just a tad, but I haven't seen that much from Southern offensively to make me think that defense shouldn't be able to turn the corner and get where they need to be. I have Central Arkansas beating University of Arkansas UAPB, and I'll tell you what, man. UT Rio Grande Valley, man, they got a lot of resources. I'm hoping that Prairie View wins this, but I wouldn't be. I think Rio Grande Valley is going to probably end up winning that game. And I think for the MEAC, appreciate it, man. I know we should have won that game. I was there. I will say this though, to go back to the A&T Tennessee State game before we go over the rest of the other games that I wanted to hit. I will say this. I went to the tailgate prior to the game, and I ran into the CIAA commissioner. He made an appearance at the game, and also ran into A&T's chancellor, which was pretty cool. I took a picture with them both. But we had too many we had so many chances to win that game, man. 3 big plays, 3 turnovers, and 2 out of those turnovers cost us 10 points. You can't do that. I mean, we kind of beat ourselves, and we had an opportunity to tie the game, and then we got the block field goal at the end. It was just tough. It was just tough across the board. But I do agree, but coulda, shoulda, wouldas. That doesn't matter. We got to win some games. I mean, it's been a while since we want to beat a Division I program, so that's what we got to do. Let me see. Hey, man, I agree with you, man. This is where I'm at. Nope. That is, yeah, I agree. We'll see, man. I mean, sometimes you got to take the refs out of it. And I think Justin Sage is capable of doing it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. However, Gibbs had a different challenge than Tennessee State did. Gibbs had to pretty much get a lot of players that he did not bring in and get them in the program. The defensive bound program, the Sean Gibbs program, ain't the same. And so Gibbs had a lot of things to do. It wasn't a situation where, like, the difference between Gibbs and Barlow was that at A&T, there wasn't that much turnover from the roster. Barlow, there was a lot more turnover at the roster. So while it is a challenge for that, it also gives you an opportunity to try to get players that you think that can fit within the culture that you want. Whereas Sean Gibbs had to instill a lot of that stuff because a lot of those kids that were there came from the Brown regime. Brown pretty much turned over a decent chunk of that team, a decent chunk of that roster. So that's what you got to take into account there. So I think sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to instill your culture at a fast pace. And Sam Shades has a similar challenge as well, being the head football coach at Alabama A&M. But that's just my perspective on it. I think there is a distinct difference when you're trying to instill a culture with a bunch of folks who got recruited by a different set of people. Whereas, TSU, while they did lose a lot of players, Reggie Barlow got to instill that culture within. Didn't kind of didn't have to necessarily change it, so to speak. It depends. I mean, the players that A&T had didn't win a Division I game last year. They've only won one in 2 years. It depends. But one thing that it did show us is that there were bigger problems going on with that program over the past 2 years in Aggieland. But I think folks have figured that out already. We were a 10-year underdog against Tennessee State on Saturday. But if it's easier to instill a culture with players you bring in than players that you don't bring in. Simple as that. All right. Where's one looking at the clock? All right. We're gonna take one more break. When we return from the break, I'm gonna go over the MEAC games and the independent games, and then we're gonna close out the show.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in due fall.
This is Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Lab. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Lab, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. Two powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable. The vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in Miami Gardens.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU Sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff. Representing the MEAC, North Carolina Central, and representing the SWAC, Southern Eagles, Jaguars, the Marching Sound Machine, the Human Jukebox. The kickoff trophy is up for grabs, and bragging rights are on the line. The rivalry is real. Bring the family and join us pre-game for the fun-filled Coca-Cola fan experience, including band jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip-hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want to lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. This is the Indie Report, episode 702. All right, so we got a couple games going down the pike this week. We'll start off. Well, you know what? We'll go to the Independents first. Tennessee State is playing North Dakota State this week. This is the second of their home and the second game of their home and home. They went to Fargo last year. They're going in North Dakota State, and Fargo's coming to them, so they're coming to Nashville. If there's any time where the fans will need it, it is this weekend against North Dakota State. I hope that Tennessee State keeps this interesting, but I don't anticipate they're going to keep this interesting. They're an FBS program in FCS clothing. As for A&T, we are playing the University of Central Florida. The big thing I kind of want out of this, I just want us to try to keep this interesting for as long as possible. But at the end of the day, I want us to stay healthy. I anticipate we'll see both Champ Long and Braxton Thomas in this game playing at quarterback. And I think we'll probably get to see more of our running backs as well. Wesley Graves. Maybe we might see some JT Smith, a transfer that we picked up. Jalen Hicks, Shameik Blizzard. I think we're going to get to see a decent chunk of running backs in this game as well. But I think the ultimate goal out of this game is to stay healthy. So that's how I feel about that. In the MEAC, we got a couple interesting matchups. Delaware State is playing UAlbany. I was like I said earlier in the show, I was impressed in what I saw out of Delaware State last weekend. Albany is probably going to be is the middle of the pack CIAA team, probably closer to the bottom. I expect UAlbany to win this game. Delaware State has struggled against CIAA opponents over its history, but I think I was impressed with what I saw with Delaware State. But I think Delaware State will keep this one interesting. It won't be a blowout. Howard's playing Temple. In Philadelphia, I don't. It's going to be tough for me to convince me that I'm hoping that Howard can keep this one close, but I don't see it. I expect this one to be a blowout. The school down the road, is playing Old Dominion. This one, and after what I saw against New Hampshire last week, it's going to be hard for me to think that they can keep this game close against Old Dominion. It's going to be very difficult for me to do that. So I'm going to probably I expect Old Dominion to win this one, probably in a blowout fashion. Virginia State, Norfolk State. I already talked about this earlier. I expect Virginia State to pull it. Well, they wouldn't be an upset because they're the favorites, but I expect Virginia State to win this game against Norfolk State. It is a rivalry game, even if Virginia State is in the CIAA. But that's my expectation. I think the inexperience with Michael Vick coaching is showing, and I think it's going to continue to show after 2 weeks. I think there's going to be a lot of discussions, even though I don't know if there should be, about that situation down there. I think it's early to have those discussions, but I think it would be a huge blow if Virginia State does beat Norfolk State, even though they're considered the favorites. I still think it wouldn't be good. South Carolina State versus South Carolina. South Carolina's going to blow these guys out, man, unfortunately. It's been a while since I've seen South Carolina in the top 10. But we'll see. Well, that's a good way to think about it too. I don't know if it matters, to be honest with you, regarding who Norfolk State decides to start. And then the last game on the list is the Battle of Greater Baltimore. Shout out to you, Mr. Banks. Townsend and Morgan State. Morgan State has not beaten Townsend in a very, very long time. A long time. So that being, I'm picking Townsend. I just because I need more. I need Morgan State to show it to me. I need Morgan State to show it to me. I was impressed with what I saw. They look like they actually have a decent offense, but we're gonna see. But I need Morgan State to show it to me. I think if the defense shows up, they probably will. But I'm picking the Townsend Tigers on that one. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and close. I'm gonna shut down the show. Mr. King sent me a message, said he was gonna make it. But shout out to Tennessee State. Loved the hospitality there while I was out there in Nashville. It was a great weekend. I had a blast, to say the least. Did get the result that I wanted, but that's football sometimes, right? So it is what it is there. But we got a full season ahead. I'm kind of happy about what I saw out of A&T. They look good. I think we're going to probably string some wins that I don't think people expect us to. I know some of you guys had us going 0-12, but I don't see that. I didn't see that before, but I definitely don't see that now. So thank you for listening to Inside HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at ChampD1012. Follow Dr. Kenyatta Cavil on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Make sure you go to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 and follow them on Facebook. And make sure you follow Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Dream big and continue to move forward. We will talk to you soon. Course, lecture, dismissed.